Nicole, welcome to the show. I appreciate you bringing the croissants. I appreciate you showing up. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
Right on. So, what's cool about you and what I was looking forward to, especially with this conversation, was we actually graduated the same year, same time, same place.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the name, like with the name of the show being Life After High School and focusing on what people have done after and directions we all take, that's kind of what stemmed from like the name part of it. So that's why I think this will be like I was looking forward to this one just a bit extra because I was like, ooh, it's cool to see all of us do the same thing and then just, all right, where are we going? Opposite directions everywhere.
Oh yeah, totally. Like everyone's so dispersed and doing totally different things. So, yeah, it's exciting.
It's cool to see. So what I'm wondering right out the gate, when you graduated, what was your kind of like, as you're graduating going into that time frame, what was that like transition period like for you?
Ooh, well, so weird enough, I didn't leave. I took a victory lap, and, well, sort of. Like, I took a victory lap, and I quit halfway through.
Yeah.
I had some extra credits, so in grade 12, I had, 4 spares throughout the entire year. So, so I'd come in, late, I'd stay in the library and just chill, and then I'd leave early, or, have, an extended lunch. All grade 12. So I went back because I had no idea what I wanted to do. Who does at that age? I'm 17.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do with that? And I kept on flipping and doing these different things. And I decided to go back, and then I had a co-op. So I had a co-op at Northern Ontario Business, / the Northern Life.
Oh, interesting.
And I had already done a co-op. I was interested in interior design. My aunt was an interior designer, and I was, kind of set on that, but I was just you know what, I really don't know. And then I went back, and I did that, and I had an event that I worked called Cook For Me Sudbury.
Huh.
And that was fun. I didn't put on the event. It was just the last thing I did before I decided to quit my victory lab and work. And so I really just decided, I liked events at that point. Still had no idea what I wanted to do. I ended up taking on, these different brand ambassador roles through a company called Mosaic after that.
Boo.
Yeah, and that was, okay, so I just Googled.
Yeah, how does this work?
I don't know, I just found it on Indeed. I just kept on applying to different jobs because I was working at McDonald's at the time, and I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
This really sucks. I don't like this. I smell like fries when I come home.
Not great.
It was not my favorite job in the entire world. So, I started doing that, and I love talking to people because I did work for my aunt. And I started doing things with her that, I feel like when you're... Okay, so I started when I was 12. I started, just folding tissue paper, putting it in boxes, helping her out at the store. Then it became, doing different displays and helping her with the retail side, customer service, and then interior design work a little bit, which is why I wanted to do that. And then after that, I started, doing invoices, helping with tax preparation, and this is all before I'm 17 years old.
Yeah.
So
just doing invoices as a teenager.
Yeah, for my no-nos business and for her business, and so that was really fun. And then when I decided to kind of stop doing that and not helping out at the store as much, but taking on these brand ambassador roles when I graduated, I Googled it because I really liked it.
Yeah.
And it turns out it's experiential marketing. So I always just say, I fell into public relations.
Yeah.
It was a total accident. And then it just so happened that Cambrian had a program, so I went.
Oh, sick, yeah.
But, I guess in between that, I met, a lot of people through that, started networking a lot, started volunteering for events, and I just became obsessed. So now I have 8 years of event experience, or maybe more, doing every single role you could possibly imagine, except for ticket sales. I feel like that's the only thing I haven't done.
Just the idea of just selling tickets?
Just selling tickets, yeah. So except for ticket sales.
Now, is that an overrated or an underrated thing? The ticket sales skill?
I don't know. I feel like because I have some experience in sales, I feel like
You'd be
would want to
alright.
fill seats.
I see you. Yeah.
Like I just, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pair that with some tenacity you have, and you'd be like, yeah, you just fill the seats. No
Yeah.
issues, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I've done, like, I volunteered for events.
Yeah.
I've helped prep them. I've helped, like, implement them. I don't know. I think, like, the biggest challenge in my life lately is doing events. I work for Cambridge College, so I'm in the international department. And I'm doing events that are, like, cultural engagement events. I have no idea. I have, like, no idea what I'm doing. But then I do my research, and I have students to help me, which is so amazing. And yeah, like, it's a whole learning experience. So, I don't know. That's pretty much, like, in a nutshell, my life since then.
What you've been up to.
Yeah.
I was writing stuff down yesterday, and I was like, it's been 10 years.
It has.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, almost 11.
Terrifying. Yeah, almost 11,
Almost 11.
11 in,
in June.
June. Oh, yeah, right, because I'm thinking fall when you start, but I'm like, no, it was June when you
like
graduate.
2014.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's bonkers.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I could not wait to leave.
Yeah.
High school and Sudbury.
Yeah.
No, that was the thing.
Yeah, I always wanted to leave, and I just never did. I did leave for like a month and a half. Like, in between graduating from college and what I do now, and all the stuff in between, I left for like a month and a half. I was serving on a resort in Georgina, and that, I don't know. Georgina. It's like, Lake Simcoe area.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that was fun.
Yeah, nice spot, it sounds like.
It was gorgeous.
Jeez,
it was the best. When I was off, I would just go kayaking or, like, it was you're like, that's not fair.
Damn. I'd pay to do that now. Jesus. Yeah, okay. So, looking back a bit, when you had that, like, the victory lap and then the extra courses, was the intent always the victory lap, or was it just like, it was because you didn't know, right?
It was because I didn't know.
Yeah.
It's because I wanted to experience, like, I had kind of a hunch that, okay, like, I don't know, I like being a people person, I like talking, I don't know, I really just didn't know if that led to a career. I had my whole family ask me and just say, like, what are you going to do with public relations?
Yeah.
And then I realized after, like, quickly...
Family's the best.
They're the best. But quickly after, like, I feel like my second year, because they would ask me, like, every holiday, you know, like, as Italian families do, they're just like,
they care.
Stay in school. They really care. And I realized, I'm like, I could pretty much do whatever and be okay. I don't know. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Did you once you so you applied after the working at the resort and stuff? Like, how'd you move back? Like, transition back to Sudbury,
back. Okay, so...
Because this was in, what, 2019?
19.
Okay, that makes sense.
19, yeah. Moving back, I just decided, like, this wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to start my career, whatever that was.
Yeah, whatever that means,
Yeah, whatever that means.
Something different to everybody, for sure.
Yeah, and I just wasn't really getting the experience that I wanted out there. And I didn't really have any options. I mean, I was broke, so I just moved back home. And, I just started working at a print shop, and then I moved out again, but with my friend.
Nice.
And so I worked at Crocodile Printing and Son, shout out, because they're
amazing.
They're awesome. And had no experience in a print shop at all. At all. And Jason, the owner... I think he originally wanted to bring me on for social and marketing pieces because public relations all kind of touches on that.
Yep.
But then it just so happened that he needed help with, like, large format printing, and which is, I mean, it's all great experience because it helps me for everything that I do now. But I ruined so much stuff. So, like, no, like, I'm serious. I tried to laminate things, and
Yeah.
large format laminating is not for the weak.
No?
No, you get hairs underneath it. Like
Oh!
you have to dust everything before you laminate, and even then, like, just stuff gets on it, and
Like, the prep is insane, it sounds like.
the prep is crazy.
Yeah.
And then
But...
if you don't know what you're doing with a large format printer, like, it's a giant flatbed, like, probably the size of this room.
That's humongous, yeah. Makes some sense.
It's huge, and then you're printing on it, and then if one
Yeah.
thing is off, it just, he was such a perfectionist, which is great.
Yeah.
Because, like, I feel like if you're not going to have people around you who demand the best, then why not?
Yeah.
Why be in that room?
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So it was just hard. And then I don't know. And then COVID hit. And then everyone was laid off
was a
except
shit
for
show.
me.
Let's go, baby. Come
It
on.
it was fun,
Yes.
but it was crazy.
Just the demand went through the roof, or was it, like, did it slow down?
It did slow down,
Yeah.
but he had a contract with someone, so in this particular area, it never slowed down. So it was just me, and I'd have to, like, print and also do customer service, and it was fun though.
Yeah.
Like, it was just crazy. I did get a raise, which was awesome at the time, which made rent,
Yes.
a lot easier to pay.
Let's go.
But it was just insane. And then eventually a part-time job came up. I came in. This was when COVID was sort of ending, and that's kind of how I ended up there.
Nice.
Although I was a student ambassador there before too.
Yeah.
Just an ambassador for everything.
Nice. What does that look like? Like, talk to me about the public relations, like, curriculum there. Like, what is this like? What is going into it? You have your set of skills, right? Coming out of it, like, what does that learning curve look like? Like, what do you take away that you're like, or even anything that stood out to you?
Well, so they don't have the program in this form anymore. It used to be a 3-year advanced diploma.
Okay.
So, and then the intent was to go to Laurentian afterwards and finish, which I did try to do in the middle of COVID, but then the insolvency thing happened, and it was a lot.
You didn't miss out. Maybe, but, like, from what I've heard from people who are going through in that scenario, it's like the problem with that and what happened was the people who got screwed the most are the people who can't afford it with the students.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
They're the ones who got shafted the most. From what I've seen from, like, knowing people who were at the school in that time or working, it's like, okay, well, they had no money coming in. Now everything's just spread out. They have to take these extra courses just to fill up a semester.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. That's just from what I've seen, though. So
no,
you might have a
it's
different
totally
opinion.
true. Like, my chair messaged me,
Yeah.
or messaged our group. It was not, like, individual messages, and they were just saying, okay, if you haven't gotten so many courses, and I was doing it part-time.
Right.
If you haven't gotten so many courses, they're like, you're just better off going to Athabasca, or doing, like, just trying to finish your degree in another way. And
Athabasca.
yeah, which I did sign up for, and I haven't finished it.
Is that out?
Yeah.
That's out west?
Yeah, it's in Alberta.
It is in Alberta. I knew that too.
It's literally just, like, it's
How do I know that?
not just an office. Like, I've heard a lot of good experiences from people, but I think because I did the hands-on thing, it was just so hard to go back to theory.
Yeah, horrible.
It was so boring.
Yeah, it's a tough transition.
Couldn't do it. But I guess I came in, so the 3 years that I did, there was, like, there was a lot of writing courses, a lot of speaking, presenting. I would say my favorite ones were event management, and there was communication design. Those are the two that I did the best at, for sure.
Yeah, they sound interesting.
I was not good at photography at all.
Why? Like, is your stuff not click, or, like, pun intended?
That's a good one. No, I just,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, I feel like it just wasn't my thing. I was not excited for it. And I actually have a friend who became a photographer even after this class, and, like, I mean, she's really great, so that's
like,
amazing.
Oh, that's the expectation of good quality.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I see her work now, and I'm like, Yeah,
Yeah,
this
I'm
makes
not.
sense.
Yeah.
And like when we were partners and stuff, I'm like, she must have been so frustrated with me because I hated this class.
Yeah.
And, like,
Ruining her enjoyment of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I don't
No,
think I
obviously,
did,
no.
but
That's
yeah,
so funny though. She's like, "Oh, this sucks," and it's like, "Actually, I'm loving this." It's like, "Oh,
yeah.
that's funny."
I was so stressed during that class, and
Yeah.
people were always asking me like, "It's just photography." I'm like,
Yeah.
I know, but it's so hard.
Yeah.
It's actually not that easy. People always think it's a bird course, and it's not. It really isn't.
Man, it's funny you say that though, because I remember a similar experience where I wanted to I like filming stuff, but what happened is I was filming something. I wanted to just film a video, and I filmed next to my buddy the whole time. He was also a video. He was not, I also a videographer implies that I'm one. I am not. He is very good. And I remember we were standing next to each other, very similar cameras the entire time. And then I saw my video and I saw his, and I was like, I'm not pursuing this. This is stupid. I was like,
This
I
is
watched
dumb.
him do the same thing I did. I like almost copied his moves exactly, and the edit came out completely different. Like we were filming, like it was bad.
Oh.
We were each filming. Is the weirdest COVID story ever. Okay, I'm
Okay,
just gonna
I'm in
interject
for
with
it.
this. This is insane. So, I got a message one day from this gentleman named Kyan, who, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly what you think it is, to film a music video.
I still get his texts. So it's...
Yeah.
Anyways.
Same. It's horrible,
Yeah.
but I love him
Mm-hmm.
in ways. But he sends me a text. It's like 2020, like summer, like fall. Like
Okay.
it was like peak. Can't do anything. And him and a guy are going across Canada doing their tour. Shout out to Mr. Jones. And man, the two of them. He messaged me and was like, "Yo, you should have Mista on the podcast, and then come and like film the music video that night." So I was like, oh, "Yeah, I'm down." So
Okay.
I met him, did the show, and then I went that night, and it was in the only bar that would open for them is Ziggs, and so that's where they had the thing, but it was like closed off for the public, right? So it was like a private event, so everybody bought tickets,
So cool.
and I didn't want to buy tickets, so I was like, what if we film this, like, we'll film this video, I don't want to buy tickets, because there was a guy who was supposed to perform that was like, yo, it's $20 a ticket, and I'm like, I'm not paying to go to see this show, and then so I was like, I reached out to him, and he's like, yeah, let's do this, have him on the show, and then you can film. Like, perfect. Anyways, sorry. I do that, and I invite my buddy, because I'm like, if it's going to be a music video, I want it to be good, so I invited my friend to
Okay.
do it. And I remember the whole time I was like watching him. I was like, whenever he would go up, I would go up to the other guy after, and like I would kind of mimic the similar like styles, right? He was filming.
Yeah, like the panning and
Exactly,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
The pan,
yeah,
the zooms, the like going in on corners, whatever. Video's not the same. Turned out completely different.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. All
Wow.
just to not pay for a concert
It's
or like a private event.
it's that's
Gong
it's
show.
all just like a skill set, right?
Yeah.
That you, I don't know, people nurture it, and it's so hard to emulate that.
Mm-hmm. What kind of like public speaking did you do in the course? In the program?
We had like a mock conference, and then we had to do. Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah, what was that like?
Oh my god, I barely remember it.
This does
to be
sound
honest.
intimidating.
It was super intimidating. So, you've been to Cambrian.
Yeah.
Do you know what the E-Dome is? It's like basically a
Probably.
round room in the trades building.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So like.
Oh yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. So back in the day, I think that was made to, like, for conferences, for, like, it was like all decked out with all this tech that I have no idea about. But yeah, so it was in there, and then there's like, I feel like it feels like you're on a talk show, or you feel like you're on American Idol.
Whoa.
Or something like that,
Yeah,
because there's like 4 of your professors just there.
That's horrible.
Yeah, and it's like it's a mock crisis
Oh.
conference. So like, because
What?
in public relations, a lot of the time, some people, they go into different streams. Some
Yep.
people do more marketing. Printing is technically part of public relations. And then there's this whole other, like, press release, journalism
Mm-hmm.
sort of side, and then there are people who do oh my god, I don't know. They basically would speak on behalf of an organization.
Yeah.
Be the PR team. Like, I don't know. Think like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's PR team.
Same idea.
Trying to like save face basically.
So it's the person that bridges the gap from the client to the public.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Exactly. Okay. You're realistically, you're just the messenger always.
Yeah.
So like.
It's just whatever medium is the way to.
Yeah. So it would be writing or.
Yeah.
Writing in, setting up press releases for newspapers or blogs or
prints and stuff.
All media, all events.
Mediums and stuff that. Oh, cool. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's really hard. It's funny that I've taken it. It's hard to describe it because it is really. That's why I said when my family asked me, "What are you gonna do?" I'm like, well, there's a lot of different avenues actually. There's a lot more than I thought of.
A lot, it seems like.
Yeah.
Huh. And that's cool though. You could take. So, then take me through that. Once you graduated, and then so you always maintain the student ambassadorship, correct?
Yeah. So I was a student ambassador, and then I had a recruitment assistant role I went down to like OCF, which it's a huge thing. There's like 10,000 students who go through there, and the purpose is recruitment.
What does that look like? Like, are you given a script when you have to recruit people? Or do you just go in and you're like, I got this?
It's not, I don't know, I feel like the focus at Cambrian is more like your story, right? So like, what is your experience if you've had a good experience? I also fell into that role. I did a student for a day in my second year, and our program coordinator basically did a shout out to the group and said like, do any of you want a high school student from Lively to shadow you?
Okay, cool.
And I volunteered, and then I'm like, oh, this is really cool. And I wanted an on-campus job because it's easy. I didn't have a car, I did have a car, but it was just cheap. I don't want to waste gas.
Yeah, you don't want to be driving around doing it. Like I do that enough now, and I'm like every time I go, I hit a pothole. I'm like, that's anxiety going up.
Yeah,
Horrible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I envy people like you that don't have to move locations.
Yeah, that was fun. It was honestly the best experience of my life, and that's also what got me into doing more events. But so I did a student ambassador role, so you would do tours and you would do that after the student for a day thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't really know what I guess I was still a student ambassador, but I would help out more with events in the student success department. So there's student recruitment, student success. So I did that, and then I was a recruitment assistant, and then that was just for like a short-term thing. It was like 8 weeks just to help with OCF. And then student ambassador again. I don't know, it's a blur because it was like 2.5, almost 3 years of my life. So I'm like, I feel like I did so much. Like before graduating, I probably touched at least 60 events, which was fun. It was good. Yeah. It was a good time.
So before we keep going, you mentioned, I'm curious when this happened in the timeline of, you mentioned you soloed to Italy?
Oh, yeah. That was actually just a year ago. Not even a year ago. It was last
recent.
May. Yeah, it was last May. It was, what I was telling you earlier is I had a couple of sips of Chardonnay. and then I was just like, I'm going to buy this ticket. Because I was thinking about it for a long time. And I have a cousin who lives in Rome. And I'm like, okay, if I go solo, at least I won't be alone.
Right.
Like, as a female traveler. I'm like,
I've heard horror stories.
Really?
From Fresno, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, just getting,
I don't want to hear that.
Taken advantage of really easy. In terms of, like, money, like, they'd be like, they give people the benefit of the doubt because they're super nice individuals, and then now all of a sudden their passport doesn't work, or they lose it.
How does your passport just not work? What?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
Yeah, they might have, they probably, I can't remember this. I think they switched it or something, or, like, they had some weird stuff happened. In that respects, I don't know if it's like exactly what like they wipe stuff on or like certain things gets smeared onto their passport, or if it gets mangled in any way, it doesn't work. Stuff like that.
Oh.
Yeah. Like if you rip a couple pages of your passport somehow, or it gets ran through the wash.
Is it just no good anymore?
There's like a level of damage it can take, and then past that point, it's like, well, if your numbers are ripped or they can't scan it or something like that.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I was crazy about all my stuff. I had a locked suitcase. I had 2 money belts, like one for my bra, one for my pants.
Smart, yeah.
And then I wouldn't buy anything unless I went to the washroom first. Like, I looked like a weirdo.
You wouldn't buy anything unless... Oh, I get
yeah,
it, yeah.
because I had to, like...
You had to
I had to take my money out.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And I had a fanny pack, too, and I kept it under my armpit. My family is from Italy, so they were just like... You know, Rome is not what you think, and they were like, because they're just like concerned Italian grandparents, and they're like, you're going alone, and they were like, why don't you just wait till you have a honeymoon and go, you know, and go after you're married? And I'm like, well, then you can't do that kind of stuff after you're married,
because you never know what that timeline looks like, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I was just kind of like, well, screw it, I've always wanted to go, and I went, and I had the time of my life.
Yeah.
Drank a lot of wine.
A lot of wine.
Yes. Yeah, ate a lot of pasta.
Did you just go Rome? Like, take me through that. How long were you there?
Oh, okay. It was a really quick and expensive trip. I wanted to. Okay, so I was fiscally responsible with my flight, except I think it was like 14 hours on the way there. It's supposed to be 9.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be 9, and I left on May 9th of last year, and I came back like 7, it was a week, came back like 7 days later, but I had to go through Ponta Delgada in Portugal.
Nice.
And then I went through Lisbon, also in Portugal.
Yeah.
And so I had I had 3 flights there, 3 flights back.
Jesus.
Landed in Rome at night, couldn't do anything really.
Yeah.
So when I landed there, I couldn't really do anything, so I just found my hotel, went to bed.
Yeah.
And you can easily see, because I had my cousin, thankfully, who lived there, so she would just like tell me things, and she would check in with me. And the moment I got there, I tried to use Uber. Did not work. You have to go to a taxi stand. And then, I don't know, it was really funny, because where I got dropped off from my my bus from the airport, which I booked ahead of time, it was actually around the corner from my hotel.
Oh, no kidding.
And I had no idea. I had no idea, because I was trying to find it on the maps, and I'm like, okay, I don't know where I'm going, it's nighttime, I'm scared. Yeah. And I took a taxi from wherever I was, which I don't even have like a point of reference, because it was dark.
Hard to conceptualize it.
Everything looks the same.
Yeah,
it's like true. Old and tall and like
made of concrete.
I went on this tour, and they said Rome is built like lasagna. And like, that's so true.
Yeah,
it's
that
very
makes
true.
sense. It's
yeah.
cool to put it. Yeah.
So I get there, and like I ended up paying like €17 for this taxi. It's literally down the street, but they took me around
walked in, like...
No, I'm not even kidding.
So this is the like taking advantage part thing that I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Because I like one of the days I had a cooking class, and
what?
Yeah. I went to go make tiramisu.
Yeah.
And ravioli and fettuccine, and it was fun. I've done this before with my Nona, but I've never made ravioli, so I was like, whatever, and why not? And then I've made tiramisu with her before too, but it's different in every. It's very, very different in every region. So I was like, oh, no, there's something to do, right? Yeah. And I took a taxi, and it's near the Vatican, and I was pretty far, and it was the same price. I'm like, I was definitely taken advantage of. I'm like, oh my god. But they warned me about all the scams beforehand. So there were all these scams, like, don't accept a rose, don't accept a bracelet, don't accept, like, anything. Just don't talk to people.
Yeah.
Like...
It's terrible, but it's the way to do it.
Yeah. Or, like, don't grab any of the water bottles, and water's free there.
Crazy.
It's literally just pouring out of the fountains in the streets. Like, it's,
But it's weird one. I've heard I watched a lot of Scam City, but before going a bunch through Europe, and I remember the thing with Rome was at the fountain. I can't remember what it's called.
The Trevi Fountain.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I
It
should
was just there.
But yeah, I would hope so. But I don't know why I can forget it. But anyways, they're saying every time you go, there'll be dudes that are like, the scam was there's like pickup artists that would go searching for like lonely like women that were just like women who were traveling by themselves, but going with the intent of like looking for love type deal.
Okay,
yeah.
like,
So they're not tourists, so because they could see the difference between tourists and like the people who are like they're dressed up really nice. They're going. It's like they're hoping to like throw a coin in and then turn around and they do.
Oh my god.
It's these people. So that's the scam of like the Rome one.
Yeah, because there's
from the show, and I was like, what the.
I think if you, it's like if you throw, I think it's your left shoulder. You should throw it over your left shoulder.
Oh, interesting.
Once, you'll return to Rome. 2, you'll return to Rome and find love, and then, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's another additional one.
But they have to come back.
They have to come back. Yeah.
Which is like, really
Is
good
that a
tourist
scam
trap,
in
I think.
itself?
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's like people return now because of this, and then they show up and they don't throw any money in. They show up looking really nice. And you're like, huh, what's going on?
They're
and
like,
then they meet somebody, and
like
there's people waiting there to meet these people.
And then in their mind, it's like every rom-com, like, this is such a meet cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's
yeah.
horrible. And then stuff like that happens. So I was like, oh, it's good that. But if you go with the intent and like you're not a tourist or you're not going because
like you're just from the region. Okay.
Yeah, it was very very specific and weird. But I remember as soon as you mentioned scams, I was like, that's right. There's that episode.
There's so many different ones.
It's scary.
It's really scary.
Yeah.
There's like I actually just recently found out about a scam where so I was selling something on Facebook Marketplace and someone was like really interested. But they were like, oh, okay, I have this thing that I have to do because my sister's sick, and I think they're like trying to, I don't know, I guess like people who are desperate to sell something. I'm not like I really
you're like
it's like whatever.
Don't care.
So they wanted to e-transfer me, and I just had this bad feeling, and I was just like, actually, cash would be better.
Yeah.
And then they never.
Trust your gut.
Yeah, they were like, I have to come and pick it up on the 18th because I'm taking care of my sister who's sick, but I really want this thing, so I'll e-transfer you right now. But they send you to a fake website, and you put in your credentials, like it's like a mock, like say you're with Scotiabank or whatever.
Whoa.
Yeah, so you put in your credentials, and they're like, and they capture it on their end. So I don't know what it is about me. I'm just very scam weary. I've never been scammed. Knock on wood.
Hell yeah.
But yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. No kidding. Oh man. Yeah. It's the pickpocketing ones would freak me out. That was the one I was like a bit weary of.
Yeah.
It was Europe. I was like a bit
Where'd
nervous.
you go through Europe?
Oh man, we did it. We did a crazy thing when we Buddy and I. So I graduated 2018, and then I did. From end of August, I went and I ended up just not backpacking. It sounds a bit too like cliche, but I ended up.
Were you in hostels? Were you doing the hostel
bit
thing?
of both. Yeah. I had a friend of mine. I was like really good photographer, and he still is. He just doesn't post as much. Post more, James, if you're watching this. And he just beautiful photos. I'll show you a couple after. You'll be like, oh, that makes sense. Okay. So really good photographer, and he was just climbing the Alps. And so I met him in.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was crazy. I flew to Amsterdam, stayed there a day or two, found a train, got a train from Amsterdam to Frankfurt, Germany. He picked me up at my friend's house, or my friend. I hung out with her for a few days, 4 hours north of Frankfurt, and then he picked me up like 4 days later, 3-4 days later, from her house, and then we went to Berlin. And we kind of went this way. Went Berlin, or Germany to Poland, Poland to the Czech Republic to Austria, to Hungary, Budapest, most underrated European city. And then Hungary to Romania, Romania to Serbia, Serbia to Bosnia, Bosnia to Croatia, Croatia through to Monaco to Italy, Italy to Spain, Spain through Andorra, which is a country, real country in between, right? I'm sure you know that.
Yeah,
and then
well,
it's crazy. And then 4
Geographically
hours, yeah.
challenged.
We drive through the whole thing, and then straight up to Paris, where we went in Paris, and then up through France, back through the Netherlands, and Germany to get to back to the no, through Belgium to back to the to get there, and then we kind of went our separate ways, hung out. I went through Amsterdam. He went through Amsterdam, and then flew out the next day.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that's a journey.
It was exhausting. I'm just exhausted talking about it now.
Oh my god, no
goodness,
kidding.
Yeah.
I went to, like I said, I went to Rome,
Yeah.
and then I went to Pompeii on like the Thursday. So I was leaving on the Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I went on the Thursday, so I had a couple days after to just like keep exploring Rome.
Nice.
My phone actually died at one point, not on the way to Pompeii, but my phone died
Yeah.
like in the city center, but it's built like a circle.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like kept walking until I saw something familiar.
Yeah.
When I went to Pompeii, we did the Vesuvius thing, we hiked the volcano.
Nice.
And just like those 6 days were exhausting. So how long
Yeah.
were you gone for?
Month and a half.
Okay. Yeah.
That
makes sense.
horrible. There were times I was like, I don't. What day is it? Like there were some 7 hour. Romania was the longest time change for me. It was 7 hours time difference.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's like 5 in the morning. People are like, I'm going to bed in an hour. And I'm like, what?
You're like talking on the
I'm
phone,
just
you're
waking
like,
up.
what do you mean?
Yeah. It was actually insane. And I remember not having a good cell phone because I had 2, one for Wi-Fi and one that like just didn't have battery. So it was like my actual phone. I wasn't doing well with cell phones at the time for whatever reason. And it, like they just kept breaking.
Did you have an eSIM?
Hmm?
Did you have an eSIM? No.
No, I messed that up. That's
No.
like looking back, that'd be kind of what I would do instead of just like
I don't know if it was so
nonsense what I did.
I don't know if it was so like prominent then though. In
Yeah,
2018.
I don't know.
I feel like now it's like of course I'm gonna get an eSIM.
Yes.
But then I have no idea.
No.
Yeah.
Man, I should have. But then, yeah, I did a bunch of that stuff. It's funny you mentioned not the scams, but every time I think of the scam, like the most, we almost got, I mean, this is entirely our fault, but we're in, because we never went anywhere south of Florence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never been to Rome. I've been in the airport in Rome.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's not.
Aren't
not
the
Rome.
airports in Europe crazy?
Yeah, they make no sense.
No, they're insane.
Yeah.
And then there's like smoking sections.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you're
indoors
like-
at the airport, I'm like, what's going on here?
yeah, I was just
Yeah.
sitting there and I smelled smoke. And I just
You're like,
I was like,
this
what?
isn't good.
I'm like, this doesn't make any sense at all. There's like smoking sections, there's like I don't know. There's
weird.
huge like luxury shops in the airport.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird, but it has its uniqueness.
Yeah.
So,
They're crazy, they're
Yeah.
awesome. Like Lisbon's the most beautiful airport I've ever been in, and the longest time I've ever spent in an airport. I had a layover on the way back home for 14 hours. And I was freezing.
you couldn't leave?
No, because I was like, I went
No way.
Damn
it.
Oh man, I was
That stresses me out.
Rome, Lisbon for 14 hours, then Ponte Delgada, and then Toronto.
Yeah.
And I had it in my mind I was gonna drive home after all
From
of that.
Toronto.
Yeah, no, and I definitely didn't, but I'm lucky I have
Yeah.
an aunt that lives in Woodbridge, so
Oh,
I
nice.
just
She's-
stayed with her.
Rip over there.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez,
Yeah.
man, that's insane.
It was, oh.
What?
I'll never do that again. I'll never do that again. If my financial situation allows, like, I'll never have that long of a layover ever
Yeah, no
again.
kidding. It's crazy too that like you couldn't leave, but also looking every time I plan a trip, I'm like, where is this? If it's not one way, what if I book 2 separate tickets?
Okay, so I could have left,
Yeah.
but when I arrived in Lisbon, it was like 10 p.m.
Oh, I see. So it's
and then
not
I
like.
stayed up, and I had my flight, I think, was at 12. I stayed up, and when it got to like
That makes sense.
8
Never mind.
a.m., I was just like, do I leave? Do I just go see?
Yeah, for
this
2
band?
hours.
Yeah, because
At
I was
most.
gonna stay in a hotel, but for $200,
Makes no sense.
I'll just sleep in the airport.
Yeah. Yeah, why not? 100%.
Yeah, I was in and out of sleep.
No, that makes sense.
I ended up being cold because I just, I've never traveled internationally by myself
Yeah.
before, so someone wasn't there to say, like, hey, you should probably bring, like, a blanket or a
Yeah.
scarf blanket, and so I just went and I bought this sweater And yeah, I don't know.
You didn't lose your luggage or anything, eh?
No, I
Thankfully?
didn't.
Lucky.
I
Nice.
know.
Nice.
I tried to keep my carry-on with me, but my backpack was so packed
Yeah.
that, and my carry-on was like full-on carry-on size. Like I researched the size,
Yeah.
tried to make sure everything. They're like, you're gonna have to check that. It's free. Don't worry. Like my luggage had.
Yeah.
They're like, it has priority. Your luggage has basically business class for luggages, and I'm like, I'm just sitting here in economy.
Yeah.
My luggage is priority.
Yeah. It's having a better
Cool.
trip than I am. What's going on here?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
That's
Like,
awesome.
It's getting facials. It's,
Yeah.
no.
Oh man, lucky. Jeez, there's what's it called? Sorry. Yeah, I lost my stuff. It's my own fault. Like I went from Halifax, or I was staying with a friend for 4 days before, and I went Halifax to Toronto to Montreal to Amsterdam.
Oh,
I did like
okay.
4, yeah, because I just
Oh my gosh.
it was weird, right? Because
Yeah.
they didn't fly me from Toronto. I had to fly to Toronto from Halifax. They didn't have a Halifax to Montreal.
Oh, yeah.
And then they flew
That makes
out from-
sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So they lost it, and I remember going
From Halifax to Toronto?
yeah, or like to
What?
Montreal. Like it
Oh.
wasn't quite something weird, right? Like I think I booked the tickets wrong. Like I didn't know how to do that then too. Like I'm just figuring stuff out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, let's see how this goes. Man, I remember I booked it, and then I remember getting there and to Amsterdam at 6 a.m. right, because the time changed. So
Yeah.
it's 6 a.m. and like the time it's a 6-hour flight. I left at midnight, and it like now it's 6 a.m. So it's like as if the time
Never.
it didn't happen, right?
It
It
didn't
was weird.
exist.
So
Or
what,
we did in those 6 hours.
yeah, right. So
Didn't exist.
I get there, and I'm like, I've lost my stuff. I'm sitting there like an asshole waiting, and just everybody's like, "Where's your stuff?" And I'm just got my Tilly hat on, my shorts, my running shoes, my sweater, and I'm like, ready to go explore Amsterdam. What are we on? I'm waiting for this big duffel bag that doesn't show up, and then I'm like, this is great.
No.
And then they go, here's where it gets
Oh my
worse.
God.
They go, well, just where are you staying? We'll send it to that address whenever. And I'm like,
whenever.
yeah. And they're like, whenever it comes in.
You're
I'm like,
only
I don't
gonna be
know.
here for a few days.
I don't know where I'm gonna be. So
Oh
I can't.
my
I couldn't
God.
give them like a hostel address in Amsterdam because I was leaving the next day, and they said between 3 to 5, like or 4 to 7 business
So
days,
you're
something
like,
like that.
okay, this is.
Yeah. So I'm like mapping out
Oh
my
my
trip
God.
to make sure that I'm still at
Did
my
you get
friend's
it?
house. So yeah, 10 a.m. knock on the
What?
door. The day my buddy's like on his way, he picks me up at noon at 10 a.m. that morning, 2 hours earlier. I got a knock on the door thinking it was him being early because that's how close it was,
Okay.
and it was my stuff.
No way.
I went
That's so
5
lucky.
days. Oh yeah, it was crazy.
That's so
5
lucky.
days. Same shorts, underwear, socks, shoes, shirt.
Oh, did
Gross.
you get to do laundry?
I think I did like
you do
the,
laundry?
but it was still like I
It's a
I did it the
refreshing.
second day, but I had still had like 2 days in like Amsterdam, had the flight overnight as
Oh
well.
my God.
So it's like there's still 2.5 days, 3 days of like wearing the same clothes, not being able to change because like, well, I don't have clothes. What am I sleeping in? So I'm like in my friend's like spare bedroom.
Oh, no.
So you know what I mean?
Oh no.
Yeah. So it's just disaster. I'm so grateful it, like timed out the way it did. But yeah, it was gross.
Oh my
It was
God.
gross. And then I had to shower
Yeah.
in that time I got it, changed, and then just yeah. But
It
then
was,
my
like,
stuff.
flipping everything in.
Yeah,
inside out.
exactly.
Like,
Exactly. It was
oh
like,
my
oh,
God.
I'm like, why is my back itching right now? I'm on this gondola and I'm like, this sucks.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we lucked it out for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I was really lucky. Like I said, I had like 3 flights. I was so scared of losing
Yeah.
my luggage, and I just had. I remember having like the oh my God, what are they called? The Apple locator.
Oh yeah, the
tracker.
air tags.
Air tags. Yes.
Yes.
So I have the air tag. It's basically dead now. I don't use
Yeah.
it. But it's still in my luggage actually, which is like in storage right now because there's no space in our place.
Yeah.
So I had it in my luggage, and I would just follow it. And then at one
Yeah.
point, I remember seeing it in the airport. I'm on the plane. I'm like intently looking at my phone.
Mhm.
Like, is it coming? And then it starts slowly moving. I'm like, okay. Like, oh,
Yeah.
I was so scared to lose my luggage. So at least you got yours back.
That's true.
That's really,
Yeah.
that's really insane.
It was insane how it timed out.
That's-
Yeah. Like right before, because it's like, well, we have an Airbnb booked in Berlin that night. So it's like we had to drive there, get into our Airbnb, and then go exploring at night.
Oh,
And that was what we
okay.
did the next day, or like
How many
that day.
people did you go with?
Just me and my buddy.
Okay, so
But
yeah, two of you.
similar to
That's
what you did,
nice.
like where you like I had family in northern Italy, like 2 hours north of Venice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then so we managed like, and he had family in the Netherlands, so we ended up staying. They lived actually on a really cute border town with Germany,
Oh.
so like we'd bike down, and then like one side's Germany, one side's the Netherlands, which is pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So I
That's
was
so
like,
fun.
we were going each way, and I was like, oh, this is sweet. And then yeah, it was just him and I, but we linked up with different people, kind of primarily to save money,
Yeah.
because like we had none of that. And like we had,
Yeah.
I had like money in a tax-free savings account, but there's no BMO in like Frankfurt.
No. Oh my gosh. I
So,
actually had
horrible.
the best experience. I barely had cash on me. I had this like AC conversion card that a friend had told me about in the past. Yeah, so you'd load money on it.
What's the AC stand for?
I think it stands for Air Canada. It's
That's
through
one thing,
CIBC.
Okay.
And they canceled it like right after my trip. Not my card specifically, like the
Right.
program.
The idea, yeah.
But you could load up to, I think it's 10 different currencies, so like euros, pesos, and like a few other ones. Yeah, Swiss dollar. Like it was insane, and you just load it on, and it's how do I explain this? It basically takes the conversion.
Yeah.
So whatever it is that day, like it's not going to change after.
Mhm.
So you load it up like you would just be e-transferring yourself.
Yeah, makes sense.
And then you bring it with you. And
Whoa.
so yeah, so it's basically just having like a European debit card, no costs for exchange, except for like the rate. Like it
Yeah, which whatever.
was insane. I'm so glad someone told me about that.
That's crazy.
I barely
Wish.
had cash on me.
Oh, no
It was
kidding.
nice. It was really nice.
Jeez.
Yeah, and then I got an email as I was traveling back. We're canceling this program. They actually just sent me
Freaky.
the $2 check I had left. They sent me $2 that
No
I
way.
had left on the card.
Come on.
Yeah, no,
Probably cost more to mail it. than it did.
probably.
That's crazy.
It was. I was like, oh, thank you. I don't even know if I cashed it.
Yeah.
I should have. We could all use $2. I don't know.
You never know. Yeah, coffee's
Yeah.
getting up there, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that could have been our coffee this morning, but you provided it, so.
So take us back now. We were in. Let's look at what's it called? That was 2000 and like that was recently, yeah. That trip.
Yeah, 2024.
Okay, so
Yeah.
after the trip, what sparked the business? Like, talk me through that.
Oh yeah. Okay. So Poptunity.
Yeah.
I got back, and I honestly, if you asked me 9 months ago, I would have not been starting a business. So.
Why?
Like not that I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but I just didn't know what. I just felt like, I don't know, such an imposter because I had all these skills
Mhm.
that made me entrepreneurial, but I had nothing to really put them towards.
I see you.
So
yeah.
you were saying earlier about that other podcast
Yeah.
and how this guy kind of downloads his brain for free. I felt like I just kept doing
It's
that.
insane.
And I just
Yeah.
kept like spitting ideas at people, and in the back of my mind I'm like, this would be so great if you had
Mhm.
something to apply it to.
Yeah.
But my friend texts me. I'm like sitting down on my couch, like, wow, I don't know what I was watching. Probably Shameless, because I just showed my boyfriend that.
Yeah. Great show.
Oh yeah, so we just like throughout the summer we just like went ham on that when we were just chilling. And I'm watching Shameless, cuddling my dog. I get a text from my friend Jamie, who's pregnant at the time. She had her baby boy, so cute.
Amazing.
And she just said, "Hey, could you make a balloon arch?"
Yeah.
And like I've told you, I've been in events for a while, so
Yeah.
I've seen them, I've ordered them,
Mhm.
but I've never made one.
Yeah.
Except for like I helped my aunt a few summers ago. It was my grandparents' 60th anniversary. I don't know how we made this thing happen. The zero popped, so it looked like their 6th anniversary, even though they're they're in their 80s.
Yeah.
Oh man, so like I'm just terrified
Yeah.
because of that experience. So I go to YouTube and I'm like, okay, maybe I could do it. I just told her I would try because her friend who was going to do it
Mhm.
went into labor. And
Damn.
okay, first of all, if you're that close, if you're that close to giving birth, I don't know how you would have done it. I had to
Yeah.
like get on a ladder. Like I'm not. Well, actually, it was a chair, but if
Yeah,
I had
semantics.
a,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But like, so I'm just putting it. So I'm just putting it together, and I'm just thinking at the time,
Yeah.
how the hell was her friend gonna do this, like this far into her pregnancy? Good for her. But I'm serious. I was like, this is hard. And then I became obsessed. So
Yeah.
I just said I would try, and I went to YouTube, and I went and I did it. I'm like, I don't know if I have enough like YouTube in me to make this look nice, but I'll try. And
Yeah.
it honestly, I don't know, looking at that and looking at what I do now, like it does feel like that was atrocious, but she loved it. She
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, so she loved it. She was like, this is so good, and we put some like florals in it, and it was pretty. But when I started looking at it, I started like picking it apart. And
That's how it goes. Yeah.
yeah. And then so I don't know when the next thing was when I did like another balloon arch. I was trying to do one for Friendsgiving so bad, but I couldn't get into my No, I just became obsessed. So I just started pushing them onto people. I did one for my birthday, and I did one for Friendsmas, and then for Sophie's birthday in January, and that was actually when her boyfriend, you know Anthony, yeah, so her boyfriend Anthony, his brother came down. We all surprised Sophie for her birthday. We did this thing where we did the Soph Olympics like 2 years ago, and then we did it again this year because we all had time, and we surprised her. She wasn't that surprised though. Yeah. She saw my car in the driveway, so I ruined it. But
that happens.
But I put the balloon arch together for her birthday, and his brother said, "You should really think about selling those."
Oh,
and
interesting.
I'm like, no, just do them for fun, like. Yeah. So then someone asked me to do it for a bridal shower, and then someone asked me to do it for their reception for a wedding, and I'm like, okay, I probably should charge
something
for this. Yeah. So
especially for your time at that point. Yeah.
It just happened, like, I don't know. It's fate, I guess.
So does that blossom into, like, where does that transition of like, okay, I have something here that's like very unique, that's like fits your skill set? How do you kind of expand that to then the idea of business perhaps? What does that look like? Or what do you want it to look like?
That's such a good question. I have no idea. I just built a partial website. I have a contact form.
Nice.
I have an About Us section that's not published yet, or about Poptunity, or the Poptunity story. I don't know, I guess from that point, when a total outsider who I just met that weekend said, you should probably think about selling those. I was like, okay, like, maybe I'll do that. So then I started going on ChatGPT and, like, doing research in any way that I could. I started listening to The Bright Balloon, which is a podcast about the business side of the balloon industry.
Whoa.
Yeah, so this is actually like...
That's what I'm saying. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
it's
cool.
So niche.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't think that the world is so big on balloons, but they are everywhere, so it makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, I just started doing that. And then recently, I went to the Celebrity Bridal Show, not as, well, kind of as a vendor. I work for 2 photo booth businesses on the side, so Fine Cube and Notch Up. I went with Notch Up. And then I saw Lindsay from Limitless Balloons, and she's someone I hired in the past.
Amazing.
So I just kind of like, I went up to her, talked to her about it. I was very excited, and, I just, like, I've hired her, so I don't want to say, like, I'm doing this, and, I don't want to, I think that it's better to just have friends in the space. She's a mentor. So we chatted for at least 15 minutes at the end of the event, and I felt so good. I felt like I was on the right path. So, I don't know, I think in the last month, I just started really taking it seriously.
Nice.
So someone reached out to me, and they were like, I just decided that I was going to do it, and that's when someone reached out to me and said, okay, I have a wedding reception coming up, and do you want to do the balloons. Like, how much does this cost? And I was like, I don't know, like $100, whatever.
Yeah, through some numbers.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. My pricing strategy is non-existent. I'm looking into, I'm looking into that right now, and I have no idea, like, the States is crazy, and me and Lindsay were talking about this last Sunday. The States is crazy. Like, you could not charge what they charge in Sudbury. People are charging, like, over $1,000 for arches, and yeah, it's worth money, but...
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, it's...
Just gotta sell to different people.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. It's an interesting, I think that everything will come, but over the last month, like I said, I just started building a website. I just started really reaching out to people.
Yeah.
And trying to get a portfolio together. I have a few different pieces. My social account is up. And I registered. Yes. Yeah. Nice. I registered the business on Thursday.
Oh, sweet.
Or
no way.
No,
nice.
Tuesday. It was like after I talked to you. I was like, I should probably just...
That's cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Right on.
I was like, I should probably just do it. And
yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think it was more of like I'm very interested, I'm very obsessed. Why don't we just do this and learn about it? And I think it's just that entrepreneurial mindset of like, whatever, if it works out, it works out, and put as much effort as you can towards it. Sure. And then if not, you tried, and you could apply those skills somewhere else.
I think too, the thing that I kind of see is like, and it's synonymous with everybody who does like anything that's kind of something I want to do, and they push it forward. I think it's inevitable to succeed if you keep doing it and like you keep trying to improve upon it. I don't think it could, like, if you stopped because you're like, that's not doing well, I'm like, you stopped it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So it kind of, what's nice is, and they do this commercial, I can't remember who, but they're like, oh, what's cool about doing business on your side or working for yourself is like, it's all on you, but the best part is it's all on you.
Yeah,
right?
It's like the worst part is that it's all on you, but the best part is that it's all on you.
It's all on you. Like, it's all you, right? It's a radio commercial. I think it doesn't matter, but I you know what I mean? Like, I've heard it. I've heard it. I'm saying it differently too than the jingle, of course. But anyways, the way I see it is the more you push at it and the more you give it your all, there's no way it doesn't succeed.
Exactly.
Right, and it's kind of because I think if we get to a point where, and Sudbury is a very tricky one, where you're like, oh, there's not enough work, or I've tapped out my resources here, then you look at it and you go, okay, that's my way of thinking. That might not actually be reality. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I think...
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it depends on what you're doing. And there's, in my case, there's a few people who do it in Sudbury, for sure. But they seem like they're getting a lot of inquiries, and there's a lot of work, and I don't know, if there was no extra work, then I wouldn't be getting any random
100%.
inquiries. I didn't even brand it yet, and I was, and that was really fun. Yeah. So, and being, I don't know, I feel like being like a little competitive and a perfectionist, kind of, I wanted to brand it first, but then things were just moving, so just just doing it slowly.
There is no, I think that's like, if that's the way that it can work for you, then that's the way it works for you, right?
Yeah.
The thing is, it's so niche, but it's so specific to you and your skill set. There's not a, this is the right step, this is the best way to do it, this is the best way to do it. I had a similar thing where it's like, I didn't, like with the side work I didn't, like, until I got jobs, I didn't register either. Like, that's the thing, because they were like, hey, we heard you can do this stuff. Do you have proof of WSIB and proof of insurance? And I'm like, oh yeah, I do. And then, well, because why would I lie, right? At that point, it's like, I'm in the room I want to be in. Nah, I don't have anything you need. And it's like, no, I have it. When do you need to buy? And they're like, oh, by this date. I'm like, hey, I got some that day. I can get it to you next couple days by Monday. And that gives me 4 days to figure out how to register a business and get insurance. And then I did it in like the 2 days I had, and then was like, sweet. And then I was like, yeah, I have it, and then sent the email, and they haven't asked for anything since. So I'm like, it kind of works out like based on what you allow it to do, and I would almost recommend, because I could see it going this way. I think you should almost like try to reach out to like an event hall or like a venue,
Yeah.
and be like, hey,
Yeah.
listen, this is what we do anytime. It's like whatever it can be, like push me to these people, push me to these people. I'm trying to do this, trying to like work this. Like almost, yeah, it's weird. Like there's, I don't know how many event halls there are in Sudbury, but
There's
then
a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know of like 3.
There's like, oh my god, I'm not gonna rhyme them all off, but there's a
Yeah.
lot. There's actually a lot, and then there are things that you wouldn't think that, like, Respect is Burning has a private room upstairs.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, like there's just like
That's
things you wouldn't really
right.
think of, and then if you're in the space, I think the nice leg up I have is having so much experience in the event industry.
Yeah.
And then having like people I can sort of lean on, like I have friends in Toronto who they're entrepreneurs, and I've just recently been like, hey, so I'm doing this thing, and then they're always giving me advice. So
Amazing.
and they've been giving me advice for years, and I'm like, yeah, I know what you're saying, but I have nothing to apply it to. I have no idea what I'm doing or what I want to do, and it just came up serendipitously, and then I was finally like, remember that tip you told me about workflow and like automating things through Zapier, or like everything that they've told me, I'm like, I'm actually applying it now.
Yeah.
So this is fun.
What was something they told you throughout the years that you're like, oh, that's a really good piece of advice. I wish I could apply it. I just can't right now.
Oh, it would be the workflow automation.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah. So I have like my
automation,
inquiry form.
Yeah.
And the workflow in the back end isn't set up, but if you fill it out, then I get a notification, and then I can just action that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Damn.
Or like, there are things that happen automatically. Like you can sort of use different plugins for social. Like I got a message from my buddy who lives in Toronto, and it was on LinkedIn, and it was just like, happy birthday. And I was like, oh, thanks. Yeah. And then he later told me it was a bot, and I was like, it's cool.
Why'd you tell me that?
Yeah.
Should have kept that to yourself.
Yeah, I was like,
It hurts my feelings a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, that was a bot, but like, okay.
It's whatever.
I don't know if it was happy birthday or congrats. I can't remember.
It might have been congrats.
It might have been. It was congrats,
Yeah,
but it was definitely a.
He definitely knows. He would definitely message you happy birthday.
Yeah.
Like, personally.
Sure.
For the safety of this stranger.
For the safety of this stranger.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. They would. Totally.
That's awesome.
Because I'm
Nice.
great. But, yeah, no, they have, like, they had bots set up.
Yeah.
Basically. And I think that's the best piece of advice, is to automate something so that people do feel like they're attended to.
I see you.
And feel special.
Yeah.
Maybe don't share that it's a bot.
Yeah.
Though. That would be my advice back. I don't know.
Yeah.
I made that mistake. I have this app on my phone, and cause I wake up, and and when I was first dating my boyfriend, I did not want to forget. He's gonna kill me for sharing this story. I didn't want to forget to say good morning. So, I just like, I would wake up and I would do stuff, and I just feel like I'm go mode. He knows about this, so it's okay.
I'm crying. That's so funny.
I didn't want to forget to say good morning, because I would just like get in it. I just can't stop my brain, so it would say good morning every day, and it would look the same
At the same time. There's no way you didn't figure it out.
No.
Like, there's no way this
He didn't. I told him. He was like, you actually can't just like not run an automation for that. Okay.
Amazing. It's funny you mention that though, because I told a friend of mine to do that with his girlfriend, so she, like, for the same reason. So it's like he just doesn't forget, because she'd be pissed if he didn't. And then I was like,
I don't think you'd be mad.
So like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, have it at a different time. Then Tuesday, Thursday, switch it and have it say something different each time. But I went like,
that's detailed.
Yeah, I'm not. I
shouldn't. I'm just gonna try this out.
Yeah, and be like Uber automation it. I don't think I can do it on my Android, so. But he is not. They have iPhone, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You can't do that? I feel like...
I haven't tried, because...
I heard Android was so better, though. It was, with certain things.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Might just send random happy birthday bot text now, moving forward.
Yeah, there you go.
That might be the move. So, question for you. Mm-hmm. Looking back, the last 10 years or so, how would you say... Because I was curious about this. How would you say you're different from... leaving high school to now, and then we'll kind of conclude after that. What do you think? How have you changed in the last 10 years?
Oh, I went to therapy. That was
Whoa.
that was useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like therapy was really helpful. I'm calmer, worked on myself. I don't know. I'm definitely. Oh my gosh. I feel like in the last 10 years, or almost 11,
Yeah.
I'm less wild than I was. I had so much fun. I was like the definition of work hard, play hard. But I don't know. Now, like, I saw this thing on Instagram lately, and it was like, be boring. Boring is cool. Like, just work on yourself, work on your business, work out, limit alcohol, all the things.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Nice.
So.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I think
Yeah.
I'm not boring, but I'm interesting in different ways. I'm not
Yeah.
burning myself out. Like, I have the energy to do all of these different things, like my regular 9 to 5 or 8:30 to 4:30 if you want to be more specific, and then I have a couple of different side gigs just for other people.
Yeah.
And then my own side gig. So it's just all gradual, right?
Amazing.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that. As take us through kind of to end. What is something you'd like to kind of wrap up on or make sure is touched on that maybe we didn't before you kind of rolled the red carpet and conclude?
Okay. I'll plug my business.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll say follow me at Poptunity Co. On Instagram. Facebook is I haven't really done a lot with Facebook yet. You can check out my website, but there's not a whole lot on it right now. But just stay tuned. Yeah.
Perfect. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nicole. I appreciate you doing this today. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for